Richard, you have desecrated the sacred treaty betwixt land and sea. Now face the wrath of your once and eternal foe, Mr. Nimbus.
Sorry? Who is that?
My nemesis.
What?
My f***ing nemesis, okay?
Okay, but what was his name again?
I am Mr. Nimbus.
He's gonna say that a lot.
Wubba dub dub. Welcome everyone to another episode of A World with Chaos. Welcome to season 5 of Rick and Morty. We are now going to talk about episode 1, Mork Dinner Rick Andre. For Wendy's breakfast sandwiches that starred Rick and Morty. I'll say this, of the ads that we've had with product disintegration with Rick and Morty so far, we've had Pringles, we've had Carl's Jr., we've had Arby's, and I believe we have at Wendy's once before, if I'm not mistaken. Of all the ads that we've had that featured Rick and Morty, this actually has to be my favorite one because this one almost felt like an actual episode of Rick and Morty. So the cold open of the show starts with the one that was released a few weeks ago on Adult Swim's channel, so you've actually already seen it. This was actually part of the cinematic that they released last year for Comic-Con. It was around 2 minutes long of the actual cold open. Just went right into the episode also, but this one kind of felt like I was already in the groove of things. Mr. Nimbus has slowly become one of my favorite characters in Rick and Morty already. With this solo appearance we've had, apparently there's some type of backstory with him and Rick. He actually knows of Diane, so this goes back a long time, so I'm all for it. I hope they bring him back. He has now become like a Jaguar or Krabopolis Michael or Mr. Poopy Butthole as a periphery character who I would not mind seeing more of. Oh, and A. Rodolph Linkler also. This episode found a good A, B, and C plot mix to where I didn't mind switching to either one of these because the stories that were going on were all entertaining and it did feel like they gave everybody something to do. In the A plot, you see because of an adventure Rick and Morty were already on, where Rick was almost mortally wounded in the beginning of the cold open. Morty crash lands their ship on Earth, but he happens to go into water, which apparently they've never had a scene on water before, and I can't remember offhand any time I've actually seen them on water, so maybe this is a good way of them having backdoor continuity. But because Rick lands on water, it violates a treaty that him and the Lord of the Sea, Mr. Nimbus, have. So Mr. Nimbus comes and they have to strike a new treaty, and basically Rick has to kiss his ass because he is his arch nemesis, as Rick says multiple times. The B plot is actually my favorite one. It involves, from the A plot, Rick instructs Morty to age up some wine because it's the only type that Mr. Nimbus likes to drink and he kind of wants to impress him. So he opens up a different type of portal that apparently leads to a world where there are anthropomorphic, I'm gonna say dogs, that are alive, and the time passes faster there than it does for us. So a few seconds there could be a few months, if not years there. So he just needs to really open the portal, close it, go back in, grab the wine, and it's already aged up years. This was one of the best B plots the entire series has given us. It was funny. I would have mind seeing this be its own episode if it was just a bottle episode just for Morty. I'll get into more of that in a second, but the C plot also derived from the A plot, which is actually pretty good writing because and a lot of times in TV shows, if you get a C plot, it just is something that pops up and typically does not go into the B or the A plot. The B and C plot from this episode all correlate from the A plot. So the C plot finds Jerry and Beth in a good relationship place. They're experimenting now sexually. They're, as they will brag about, watching porn together. and they get propositioned by Mr. Nimbus for a threesome. And throughout the course of the episode, they go back and forth on whether they should not only accept the threesome, but are they trying to talk the other one into it or talk the other one out of it? And it was a different side of Beth, kind of a different side of Jerry too, to see him this sexually competent almost, in the fact that he's sexually satisfying Beth and wants to take it to the next level and have a threesome with the King of the Sea. There's also technically a D plot where Rick wants to get the upper hand on Mr. Nimbus, and he sends Summer to the bottom of the Marianas Trench to get the one thing that can apparently kill Mr. Nimbus. There's a part in the episode where Mr. Nimbus is talking and Rick looks on his phone and sees Summer fighting off Atlantean people for it, and it just goes to reinforce that Summer is a badass and is probably my third favorite character on this entire show. So going back to the B plot, Morty invites Jessica over. From the cold open, you saw that he called her and basically got out everything he wanted to say to her, because it was pretty much assured that he was going to die. And she basically calls him out for it, like, yeah, you never hit me up or never really, made the move, so I didn't do anything. And he invites her over for dinner. She comes over and she wants to have some drinks, since he mentioned that he was getting alcohol. And it almost becomes a Frasier-like episode, to where he keeps leaving her, saying he's getting the alcohol, going into we'll just call it the Narnia world, and not coming back with alcohol for her. Well, he keeps going into this Narnia world, and more time has passed there. And throughout the course of the episode, he gets the alcohol originally, takes the dad that was with him out and talks to him for about 20 seconds. By the time the guy goes back in, his pregnant wife has now been dead for decades, and his unborn son is now in his probably late 20s to early 30s. Throughout the course of Morty going back to get more alcohol, they be a medieval civilization to a cyberpunk civilization. Probably hundreds of years have passed. Just a complete bloodline that Morty has laid waste to from his trips in and out. He is the end-all be-all devil of this world. He is the person that they fear, that their entire civilization just rests upon killing Morty the next time he comes back. And it just devolves into true great hijinks. It comes to a head where Morty and Jessica get stuck in the world. Jessica then gets stuck in there. Morty has to go in there to get her. Rick then goes in there to get Morty, because Morty asks him for his help. And you find that Jessica has been there for hundreds of years in a frozen jewel-like state, kind of like you would see in Superman in the 77 movie. And she's now become a Time Lord, basically. By the time they get out, because they get saved by Mr. Nimbus, him and Rick make up. And then right when they make up, Summer comes in and uses the weapon inaccurately on him and starts blowing the conch shell, which apparently makes him even stronger. I'm laughing now thinking about it. Then Jessica basically tells Morty that they're not right for each other, that she's seen the wonders and horrors of the universe by being there in a frozen state and seeing that civilization age, and she's now just kind of above him. So this is some development, because Jessica was always kind of a character that was periphery, and you always knew that that was Morty's goal, to be with her, but now she's gone. It gave her some actual character development in the first episode that really spotlighted her outside of Rick Potion number 9. I enjoyed it. I kind of wish Morty would go back with, I don't know if we ever found out her name, but his true love from the Vat of Acid episode, that they had that brilliant little mini movie of them falling in love, going to the mountains, and yada, yada, yada. I enjoyed this episode. The episode was at a great pace. It packed a lot in to the time that they had, especially having a fully developed, I'd say, A plot, a great B plot, and a developed C plot. This is a great sign for season 5 for me, because if this is going to be a preview of what we'll get further into season 5, I think this could have the potential to be one of the best seasons we've had so far. In all honesty, this episode to me is better than half of the episodes we got in season 4. And we got some great episodes in season 4, but I would rank this one at least over 4 of the episodes we got in season 4. Well, what do you guys think? Did you watch the season 5 premiere of Rick and Morty? Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified of when I drop more videos. You are going to be seeing a top 10 Rick and Morty episodes video coming later on this week on the channel. You can also find me on all social media. It's Team Kayos. Make sure you're a fan of the page on Facebook. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and Twitter. And make sure you're following the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Google, and Pocket Cast. As always, nerd responsibly.